Hello everyone, this is Srivati M, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science, Artificial Intelligence and Data Science, Dr. SNS Rajlakshmi College of Arts and Science. In this series, we discussed about the theoretical fundamentals of artificial intelligence. Today we are going to discuss about the foundation of logic in artificial intelligence. So logic is considered the backbone of artificial intelligence because it helps make decisions through reasoning, much like human what we do. So the idea of logic began in ancient Greece. So ancient Greece, where philosophers like Aristotle first explored how conclusion could be drawn from given facts using logical deducting. Later in 19th century, the mathematician from named George Boole transformed the philosophical ideas into a mathematical logic by creating what now we call as a Boolean algebra. This system uses values like zeros and ones, so that represent true or false. So in Boolean algebra, we use the zeros and ones, so true or false. So in the early 20th century, David Hilbert aimed to build a complete and consistent set of logical rules support all the mathematics which inspired most structured form of logic used in artificial intelligence system. So however, in 1931, another mathematician, Groot Gödel, proved the in 1931, Kurt Gödel proved something very important in any logical system that is complex enough. There will always be some truth that cannot be proven using the system itself. This discovery, known as Gödel's incompleteness theorem, shows that the logic has a limitation. As a result, while logic is essential for artificial intelligence, it cannot solve every problem alone. This is why modern artificial intelligence also includes other methods like learning from data and probabilities, along with logics to create smarter systems. Next, we see the logic and reasoning. So the core concepts. Logic is a formal method used for reasoning in a structured and valid way. It helps us to machine to determine what conclusion can be correctly drawn from given information. So in artificial intelligence, we use a type of logic called symbolic logic. So it is a precise representation of knowledge, which allows knowledge to be represented clearly and precisely using symbols. This makes it easier for computers to understand and use the information for reasoning. With symbolic logic, programs can automatically perform logical steps to reach conclusion. This is called the automated reasoning. Next, logic also play a key role in helping us distinguish between different types of reasoning. For example, it tells us the difference between the deductive reasoning, that is where conclusion follow necessary from premises, and inductive reasoning, where conclusion are likely but not guaranteed. It also help identify whether a reasoning path is valid or fallacious, that is called as incorrect. The logic is widely applied in many areas, such as proving mathematical theorems, solving uh, solving complex debates, cracking puzzles, proving theorems, solving debates, puzzles, and games. So, where reasoning is a key to success. Next, we see the propositional logic and reasoning pattern. So, in artificial intelligence, logic is implemented is two main systems. One is a propositional logic and first order predicate logic. So, propositional logic deals with the statement-based logic, while FODL, first order predicate logic, is more advanced and can express relationship between objects and their properties. The logical system helps in structuring knowledge and reasoning. As part of logical reasoning, artificial intelligence also introduced argumentation theory augmentation theory, which studies how augmented are formed and evaluated. To understanding logical expression clearly, we can use the syntax and semantics. So it's a rule of structure. And semantic means rule of meaning. One useful technique for checking the truth of logical statement is called semantic tablets, which is a method of testing the satisfiability of logical formulas. So AI also involves validating logical expression and converting them into normal forms for simplification. Another important concepts in the resolution principles rules used for logical interference in artificial system, particularly used in a providing statement. AI uses non-monadic reasoning. So it's a non-monadic reasoning. Its conclusion, when new information is added, this is very important because it in real life situation, new facts often changes what we previously believed to be true. Next, we see the applications and reasoning techniques. So artificial intelligence uses logic in several important areas. One key is knowledge representation. So knowledge representation, where logic helps computers store, organize and understand information in structured way, just like how we human think, what we do. So the logical representation represent our human things. Another area of data querying is where logic is used to search and retrieve specific information from large set of data. We have a large set of training data, so we can easily search and retrieve the data from the database querying. Next one is software correctness and verifications. So here the logic ensure that software program behave as expected and do not contain errors. So additionally, the logic plays a crucial role in natural language understanding. So here the artificial intelligence system try to understand the interpret human language. In AI, reasoning can be done in two main ways. One is a rule-based learning. Another one is a model-based learning. Rule-based learning. This method uses known fact and a set of rules to draw conclusion. For example, if a fact says all humans are mortal and another says Socrates is a human, the system can logically conclude that Socrates is a mortal. So model-based reasoning. Instead of using just rules, this method builds model for real-world situation and then use logic and understand predict outcome based on their modes. Both method helps AI system to think logically, solve problem, make decision effectively. So we come to the end of this section. I hope you enjoyed this section. Thank you.